Hi everyone, I've got a one sheet wonder for you today. I'm loving those at the moment. I'm Julie from Camellia Crafts and I'm going to show you how to make this from one sheet of 12x12 cardstock. I've used Tim Holtz cardstock, but you can use any. I want to show you what inspired this. You'll see that it's absolutely nothing like, it doesn't look anything like it. And I'm going to show you what inspired it before I show you the actual thing. Yeah, I've made a few more. I've used different closures. I'll show you how to make them. Now, I picked this up in a charity shop in Leeds a couple of weeks back, and it was only £2, and I didn't buy it for the actual cover. In fact, the cover's a little bit battered and a bit grimy. But when I did open it, I thought, oh, that's interesting. I'd like to try and make one of those. So I've made a smaller version. I actually bought it for what's inside. I've already opened the pack. These were wrapped in cellophane. They are drawer liners, and I bought them for this gorgeous pattern. It'll make brilliant scrapbook papers, junk journal pages, and I could even fussy cut some of the elements out. But I liked how this worked with the flap, the top and the bottom, and then, yep, that bottom flap, how it keeps that in place. So I'm knocking my glue and everything over. I'm struggling to get all this in shot at once. But yeah, and I even liked the closure, so I've come up with my own version of that closure, and then a completely different closure. In fact, that's what you do, isn't it? You're inspired by something, then you come up with something similar but different. So that's where the inspiration for this came from. Now this one is fastened with elastic. On the front we have a pocket. I've put a tag in, that's a Tim Holtz. Well, it's a ready-made journal card. No effort's gone into that, I've just popped it in. Half of a layaway tag that were hanging about in my stash, but again, any tag will do. Then I've popped a few tickets in because I just love that layered up look. So I'll pop those back in so I don't lose them. I've put some press studs on, that's like a little page pebble. They were from Poundland years ago. A couple of Tim Holtz bits of ephemera. That's one from Cara Brandon's digitals that I like to print out. And what's that? Yeah, that's a little bit of the faux tape. I've just printed it onto a clear sticker sheet. I've popped a bit there. The first bit I actually used because I'd actually damaged that cut. Well, I'd not damaged it. This was the top of the piece of scrapbook paper and it come apart a little bit as I'd taken it out of the pad. So I just used that to repair it. Popped a press stud on. I've fastened it with one of these. I'll be showing you how to make one of these yourself. This was a Tim Holtz one that I bought in 2016. I know that because I was looking what it were on my Amazon purchases. And I bought it in 2016 and they are unavailable at the minute. You may be able to get them where you are, especially in USA if you want some. Anyway, so that folds out. I haven't done any decoration on there whatsoever because I intend using these as storage. I probably won't decorate all the fronts on them, but you could use it as a little booklet to pop a little mini journal in. Oops, I didn't put that down right. Yeah, I've decorated the side flaps. So what you can also do with this one, you could close it like that. I don't know which way I like it best. I like it like that actually. My daughter liked it with the flap on the inside. So it's quite versatile. And inside we've got the flap up there. It stops anything falling out. So if you could imagine, if you've got lots of 12x12 scrapbook paper that you're not going to use, which we all have far too much of it if we're into scrapbooking and crafting, don't we? You could just make these up, they're pretty quick, and store things in them. I mean, I do store a lot in clear plastic wallets, but some things will fade when the sun gets to them. So the better in something like this. And yeah, look, I've just got a pack of Tim Holtz treasury tags in there. I don't use these, I hoard these. When I want a tag, I make my own. I'll never buy these again. I just bought a pack to see what crack were, as you do, and yeah, they're just here. I'm never going to use them, but I will store them forever in this wallet. Yeah, you can go to town, as much decoration as you want. Yeah, a little bit. Oh, put a little bit of ribbon there with an eyelet, a teeny tiny little safety pin, and yeah, I just think it's cute. So I'm going to put my elastic back on. And let's show you how to make one. I've already chosen the paper I'm going to use, which is this one. I will show you different closures as I go. I'll show you this one now. This one has no closure, none whatsoever. I've just tied ribbon around it, and inside I've got some more of my Tim Holtz cards that I hoard. It's one of these that I used on the front of the other one in the pocket. You don't have to put pockets up front. Yeah, do what you want with it. That one's very plain, and I've just tied it with a bit of seam binding. Or you could put Velcro fasteners on. I've not tried one like that. I might do that with you today, but we shall see. Right, for now, this is my piece of paper. It's from the Tim Holtz Wildflower collection. Now, if you're interested, these were re-released recently. I don't know if they're supposed to be one and done, but everyone still seems to have them for sale. I didn't buy any. This is from the original. And his new ones apparently are, I don't know, they've been refreshed. I don't know if they're a bit brighter, colours pop a bit more. So mine might look a bit dull, because mine's old, a lot from about 10 years ago. So, yeah. Right, grab your scoreboard and stop waffling, woman. Although, yeah, I know people like the waffling, but sometimes you have to do a bit of crafting as well, don't you? Grab that's a different ball too. I've been tidying up. I've not seen that for years. I'm going to use this scoreboard, my regular one, today. And I've written down on a post-it note where I need to score, and I've lost it. So, do you know what? I'm just going to find it. Ta-da! Found them. Don't worry, you don't have to see this. This is for me. It will come up on the screen just before I score. In fact, I'll make sure they're up now. So, I'm going to take my piece of paper, and for the first score, I want to turn it upside down. I just find it much easier. The measurements are much easier if we turn that upside down with the outside facing us. So, the outside, the bit you want to see on the outside facing us. You'll see why as we make it. Now, our first score line is going to be at 5 inches. I'll hutch this down so you can see the top of my scoreboard. And I'm going to score all the way down at 5 inches. 5, and I always go twice. Then at 5 1/8 of an inch. 5 1/8. Da-da, 5 1/8. Then the next score line is going to be 10 1/8. And I'll tell you why this is. This, I didn't tell you measurements, it's 5 inches wide. So our first score line is going to be our front page at 5 inches. We're then making a little bit of a gusset that's, well, on the spine that's 1/8 of an inch wide. So then we score again at 10 1/8, so that our back page is also 5 inches wide. 10 1/8. And then I'm going to score again at 10 1/4, so that we have another 1/8 of an inch gusset for our flap. I'm just going to go over both those again. There we go. Now I'm going to turn it again, and I want the top of my paper at the 0. So if you're using one of those scoreboards that goes from the other end, have the top there. Yeah? Hope that makes sense. And we're going to score this one at 2 inches. So 2 inches all the way again. All the score lines are all the way down. Then at 2 1/8. So again, we've got a little gusset for our top flap. Then we're going to score at, I've put there 2 1/2. No, we don't score at 2 1/2. Right, this is why I don't always write down what I'm going to do. We're going to score at 9 1/2. Oh, that's a good pencil. And 9 5/8. So if anyone did take a screenshot of that earlier on, it's wrong. Look at the numbers on the screen. So we're going to score at 9 1/2 and 9 5/8, which is the next one along, leaving that 1/8 of an inch little gussety bit. So I'll just go over both those again, and that's our scoring done. So put that away. Now I know this is a busy pattern, so you may not be able to see the scores. So what I'm going to do is I'll turn it over and I'm going to ink along my edges before I do any cutting. So I'm going to use walnut stain. It's a slightly darker ink to go with this slightly darker paper. It doesn't matter which score line you go on first. I'm just going to fold that over like so, because this will then help you. Oh, that's a sanding block. I bought some of them little sanding papers and I've just gone and stuck it in my ink. No, use your foamy dauber, love. Oh dear. I should entitle my videos, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong, because Julie's doing it. Now I'm just going to ink along all my score lines. When I fold it back now, can you see? This will make it much easier now when you come to cut little bits out. Normally I'll do all my inking after, but I'm going to ink all the 4 lines that I've scored. They're like pairs of lines I've scored, aren't they? All 1/8 of an inch apart. Oh, there we go. Can we see it? Yes, we can. Bob the Builder, can we fix it? No. Do you know, I don't even know. We have Bob, they were kids, is it stop motion thing? Not a cartoon in UK, I don't even know if you have it in other countries. Tell me if you have Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder. The other one my kids used to watch was an American one. It was, oh, is it Handy Manny or something? Handy Manny. It were I don't know, Handy Manny. I'm sure he were American. He were very like Bob the Builder, but they were American. So, hope you're enjoying this, Phyllis. My subscriber Phyllis, who loves to watch inking. Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to put a bit more on this one, where paper's darker. There we go. Sorry for all flipping and flapping. So now you can see where my score lines are. Yeah? This is the side I like to be on when I do the cutting. This is going to be the inside. So, I'll just turn it back over. That's our top. So it's important to have the top at the top, yeah? Top tip, top at top. So I'm going to turn it over. Now we're going to cut out some bits all together, and I'm going to mark them so that you know which bits we cut out and which bits we don't, because I did a couple wrong when I was doing my prototypes. So that piece, we want to cut that out altogether, and that piece, but we want to keep these pieces. But all we want to cut out here is that score line. Yeah, you can't see with that green pen. What colour was the last one I picked up? Different to that, wasn't it? Because it showed up so much better. Oh, it's black, so we're cutting that out. That's another green, but it's darker, and we're cutting that out. Yeah, and I'll do that first so that I don't get carried away and cut too much stuff. Now get your preferred scissors, your preferred knife. If you're handy with a craft knife, you could perhaps do this with a craft knife. I'm very not handy with a craft knife. I can use them now, but not for really big jobs. Right, for this one I'm going to use my slightly smaller Timmy scissors. Why? Because I don't know where I've put my big ones, that's why. I did have them and now they've just... I've tidied up. I've tidied up ready to film video. Yeah? And I've lost them. So we're going to cut out that little 1/8 bit, and we're going to cut on either side of the bumpy bits. I'm cutting this about as straight as I don't know what. A donkey's iron leg. And then that one. Now here's another top tip. If it ends up looking totally wonky, make it even wonkier and make it look like you did it on purpose. I was tempted to do this one all grungy on edges and use my little sanding discs that I got. If you've not seen them, I'll show them you again in a minute. Right, so I've just snipped to just past that bump there. I'm going to pull that back and cut across. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same with this bit. I've not done one in a long time where we have to just cut the little bumpy bits out. I'm calling it the bumpy bits because this is the back of where I scored, you see. Oh, I didn't ink that one so good and I can't see where to cut. Right, so pull that back. I just like to pull it back and do it like that. Gets it straighter. So yeah, I've just cut that tiny bit out. I mean, if you want to use those as decorations, keep them. I've been inking with a cotton bud. Now on this one, we're going to cut the whole corner off. But again, we want to do it on this side of the bumps and the tram lines. So the tram lines will be on the bit that is attached to the bits we cut off. I hope that makes sense. And it really is this easy. Like I say, it's not a complicated one, this. And even if you put the score lines in the wrong place, don't pack in. I'll show you my other prototypes. Some have got more score lines than you can, yeah, you can count, because I put them in the wrong place. I think you can use the score lines as, oh, I've done both sides, haven't I? Because I'm not taking notice. I didn't need to cut that off, that score line. I'm taking absolutely no notice what I'm doing. That should still be attached to that. Doesn't really matter. World's not going to end. I just made one more cut than needed. I bet there were people screaming at me saying, you don't need to do that. What are you cutting that for? Tell us we don't need to cut that. Yeah. Sometimes it's do as I do and sometimes it's do as I say, because I don't always do as I say I'm going to do. Right, that's that. So, that's the way up we want it now. That is our little folio thing. It's not even a folio, it's a pocket, an envelope. I don't know where it is. I've no idea what this video is called. You'll know that. I have no idea. Right, so I'm going to grab a ruler for this next part because I find it easier. Whenever you've got to fold two lines that are really close together, I like to use my ruler. I haven't inked that second line very good either. So I'm going to, don't use the sanding disc, that needs putting somewhere else. So I keep trying to sand my edges instead of ink them. That's better, I can see both lines now. So I'm going to put my ruler over one of the lines, and I'm going to do this with all four. So put my ruler over that one nearest. I do like to use my bone folder to help with this sometimes. And I'm just going to, can you see I'm folding along that outer line. Then I'm going to come in and fold along the inner one. It just gets your score lines a little bit more precisely folded, she says. There, and I pull it slightly towards me as I'm just giving it a little bit of a bone fold. I'm not being too vicious with that bone folder. Don't be too vicious. And then I ought to have bone folded that first one first, but we can do it. We can do it, we can do it. So that's that one. I'm then going to round those corners. You can do this now or do it after. I'm going to do it now, because otherwise I might forget. That one. I'm using the larger size on this corner rounder for a change. It's me. You know I'm not going to leave these corners sharp and pointy. And to make my life easy, before I fold these others in, I'm just going to round the top one and that, which is going to be our front cover. Because it is a bit easier before you start folding things in. I did it after on my prototype because I didn't know I was going to round them then. Oh, that is so wonky, but oh well. It's handmade. Do you want perfection? Because you ain't going to get it. Not with me. Right. So I've showed you how I folded that. I'm going to do the same with this one now. Get my bone folder here. it'll just ensure that everything is a little bit more precise. Your cover will line up better if you're a bit more precise with this folding. Then I'm going to do that one. Whee. So I'm just using the flat part. You could actually use that part, your bone fold, I suppose. Then there's less chance of poking it with your point and messing it up. So that's that. Now you could, if you wanted to make this deeper, you could do that. You could leave, instead of 1/8 of an inch there between the score lines, you could leave 1/4, you could leave more. I don't want mine too deep because I might put them in journals, I don't know. It'd be ideal to put in front pocket of a journal, wouldn't it? So that's those two done. I'm going to do the top one. You might consider this a bit faffing, but especially if you're a beginner, if you fold these and you're like, why is it not straight? Why? I mean, score line's not folding properly. It just is tricky to fold them when you've got score lines very close together. It just is. If you've never found it difficult, you're a very lucky person. If it's possible to find something difficult, I will find it difficult. So that's that. I won't be making another one of these during this video. I'll be showing you other bits of how to alter them. So if you need to see it again, rewind, watch this bit again before you have a go at making it. I always do that with anything, me. I will never, now I'm going to do this one without using my ruler. And then I'll do the second one with ruler. Look, I'm getting a bit cocky now, a bit confident. Yeah, you can do it. Whee. Right. So these bits here, I'm going to fold that one in, and I'm going to fold that one in. Now this one's going to be, that one should be a bit too long. I'm hoping I've done this right, you know. Last time I made this, that were a bit too long. And or is this first one I've made right? I don't know. So let's watch now. The proof will be in the pudding. That should fold over. Oh my lord. That's it. That's what I've done. Do you know, because I've got 2 creases. Fold it on your inner crease, woman. I know that should be a bit too long. There you go, it's a bit too long now. I forgot to fold both creases. You silly woman. Silly woman. So, can you see how that it makes such a lot of difference if you don't fold on your creases at the right point. There we go. Now that is a little bit too long to fit in there. Only a little bit. So I'm just going to get my trimmer and trim it off because I've no chance of trying to do this straight with scissors. So I'm going to do it with my trimmer. Just a little bit. That's right. I'm going to do that much because that is then useful to make a little tag. The amount is not. As long as this, well, if you look on my prototype, that just had a short bit on either side. I like that to come all the way around, to hug what I've got inside. Now let's have another see whether that fits. Ta-da! There you go. It does. The only reason it's not looking perfect is, can you see that is, yeah. Let's measure it and see. 5 inch on the front, 5 inch on the back. Any difference you might think you see is down to the little gussets. That just allows me to fit a little bit more in. I'm quite happy with that one. I think it's the first one that's gone right first time. And I'm quite happy with what I've ended up with on the front. Yeah. You will have, let's get another piece of paper out. Your front page will end up being, ooh, what's that? The sort of centre section there. Yeah. Now if we look inside at the flaps, that's upside down, that's upside down. It really does not bother me one little bit that that's upside down. If it bothers you, you could use one of the flaps that we cut off, like so, turn it the correct way around and put it over. if it's bothering you, or just use some of your scraps. What I tend to do is grab any old bits of ephemera and stick them on. Like if it were bothering you that ABC were upside down, look, just pop something on it. And that is the basic folio. Everything else is decoration. I used that part that I cut off here to make a pocket. Yeah. What I also did, can you see where my score lines are? I left those on because I just thought it looked good. I can't leave that one on this time because I cut it off. But I could put it there. Yeah, I could glue it on top of the bottom and I've still got, yeah, that's some good decoration. But, there we go. It's confusing me, this paper, because some of the things on it, I thought that was an upside down 9 and it's not, it's a 6. Yeah. If you're one of those people that doesn't like anything to be upside down, choose a piece of paper that is non-directional, that doesn't have numbers and patterns. But that, I'm quite happy with. My main bits are the correct way up. Those two little flaps, doesn't bother me. So, I'm going to decorate this one. We're going to do a bit more inking with my ink dauber and not, not this. In fact, you know, I'll tell you what, I'm going to use this. These are the Tim Holtz little sandpaper discs with fluffy backs on. Now, someone has bought me these and I don't know who. So, if you're the person that bought me the sanding discs, thank you very much. Oh, me and my mouth. So I'm going to use them. What I have noticed, when you use them on edge and you then put ink on, I like the look of it. You need to be less vicious with the ink. It just goes on better. I'm liking it. So yeah, I'm going to put my ruler just under there to keep that bit of paper more stable while I sand that edge. There you go. But I'm liking it. I might just do the front page for now. I can do the rest after if I decide I want to. I'm going to do a bit more on corner. I'll do that top edge. I'm not going to do my creases because I don't want to weaken them. Yeah, look out, that was not straight at all, that cutting. Alright. So you could go even more to town and get your scissors or your distressing tool and just rough that edge up even more. Oh yeah. Okay. There we go. And then I'm going to grab my ink. Move that out of the way, woman, because you don't want to use it by accident again. Yeah. I like that. So you'll never know that I cut it wonky now. It looks like I did it all on purpose. It looks like it was a plan all along to do it all wonky. Now I'll do some ink there. I find this, it's just about the right weight, this Tim Holtz. I haven't used, you know, Stamperia, if you watch me regular, is my favourite paper. I do think Stamperia might be a little bit too flimsy for this. And I suppose if you've got other brands that are even thicker, it'll be even better. Right, so, yeah, that's my cover. And I'm going to use this as my pocket. It needs cutting down a smidgen. And I'm not giving you an exact measurement because it really is a smidgen. It's about the width of, it's not exactly 1/8 because the width of the two score lines and the 1/8 inch between them is slightly more than 1/8. I hope that makes sense. There we go. Where's your dauber gone? You put that on top. And I'll sand this as well. I'm going to round just that one bottom corner with my corner rounder. Whee. If you don't want to see me decorate it, I will try and put a timestamp on. I'll try and remember to where I show you the variations on closures and bits like that. A bit more. I don't want to make that one too gnarled. Gnarled? Is that a thing? Because it's going to be a pocket and things need to go in it. I think I need a bit more roughage on that. Last time I did a bit of roughing up, I used my actual tool. I'll show it you, I've got it here. That's a tool that roughs your edges up. It's got a blade in, but you don't need them because you can use scissors just as easily. In fact, I think it does it a bit quicker. Right, I'm just going to grab my cup of tea. Thank you, darling.
I've been here for 2 minutes.
Have you been here for 2 minutes? Sorry. Bye-bye. That was my youngest making me a cup of lemon tea. I did ask for coffee and she refused because apparently I've had 5 coffees today. I didn't realise I'd had 5 coffees, but it's probably why I can't speak. Ooh, lemon tea. Yum. Right, let's get back to roughing things up. Yeah, I'd have roughed that child up if she'd not made me a cuppa. She's probably listening. Right, so that is going to be my pocket. I'm going to glue it on. I'm still using my... I get a lot of questions about this glue. It's tonic. You can't see the... Yeah, it's rubbed off very quickly. And, oh, look at the grime. It's not grime, it's ink. I'm not that dirty. It's ink. When I get... It gets sticky and then I get inky. It's tonic and it's Nuvo, N-U-V-O. I'll try and link it in the description, and it's called Deluxe Adhesive. Quick, fast drying craft glue. I'm putting it on a par with art glitter glue, although I think it dries slightly slower, which can be a bonus. Sometimes with art glitter I'll stick some on and think I could do with moving that, and it just grabs so quick that I can't. So yeah, tonic Nuvo. And at the moment in the UK it is much cheaper than art glitter. I'm noticing a lot of glue prices going up. When I was looking for that elastic closure, I noticed that I'd bought some Fabri-Tac, that's the silicone based glue. Bit stinky, it sets my breathing off. Well, it doesn't. Don't set me off breathing. I'm breathing all the time. It just makes me breathing a bit. I can't breathe. So it doesn't suit me. But a lot love it. And it is good. And I bought some and I paid £8.99 for a bottle about 8 years ago. And it's now £22. That's not inflation. I don't know what that is. Why is a bottle that were less than £10, less than 10 years ago, now £22? I haven't a clue. I haven't a clue. Right, because I missed that little tram line off bottom, I think I'm going to glue it on because I like the look of it. Yeah, and I'm going to use this same glue. Whee. So you can use every tiny little scrap. And I could put it at the bottom, or I could put it across there. I think I'm going to put it there, actually, rather than at the bottom, because we've roughed the bottom edge up, and that looked good. Yeah, I'm just going to pop it there. There. Right up to the edge of that pocket. I mean, you could do this before you put the pocket on then, I suppose, couldn't you? I'm going to touch it up a bit, because can you see how it's cut a bit wonky? Oh, this has dried so fast, I don't think I'm going to be able to touch it. Ouch, ouch. No, it don't want to ouch. That has dried really quick. And then I'm just going to trim this off. I can live with that. I can live with it. Trim it and ink it. There we go. Just like that. It's a tiny little detail. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of my journal cards to pop in the pocket before I decorate the rest. I wasn't actually going to decorate one at all today. I was just going to, yeah, show you how to make it. But it would have been a very quick video, and I wouldn't have had enough time to waffle and talk about absolute rubbish, which apparently people like. So I'm going to grab one of these. I'll link these again, but use anything. Use a piece of Tim Holtz paper. I mean, I think, yeah, to hand, I grabbed one of his packs of backdrops. But again, you don't have to use Tim Holtz. You do not. I just feel like using it today. Oh, I love that. Yeah. I use it very sparingly, though, my Timmy stuff. Right, I don't want the birdie. I like the rose. I like that one better. Oh, that's good. I like that green. Oh, I do like that. I always go for roses and birds. Oh, that one's good. Oh, that's very bold, isn't it? And then if I decide to have my flap there, oh, that would look good. It's all about decisions today. Decisions. But then we've got the bird's nest. I'm going to use bird's nest. Yeah. Sorry, roses. Is there a butterfly one? Oh, that's nice. Ooh. No, you've picked the bird's nest now, woman. Stop it. Put that away and stop faffing. There you go. So that's, look, keeps them all together. And when you're like me and you just throw things all over your desk, that's not a bad thing. Right, I'm going to ink the edge of this now, because it looks a little bit pale, doesn't it, compared to the journal. So lots of inking today. Whee. But yeah, you can use this for all sorts. You know, if you're just sending someone some bits and bobs in Happy Mail, this would be a great way to contain them. Yeah, it really would. Right, that's you in there. I like that blue, how it goes with that. It's Tim Holtz, they all go together. I'm not brilliant with blues and greens. I can't tell what colour they are sometimes. But I trust Tim. I trust that Tim's matched them all up nicely for me. Right, I'm going to grab some bits of Timmy ephemera now. These are mixed ones, different sets I've had over time. So, yeah. I will link the sets that I know I've had before. Right, do we want... When I die cut my label, I had a spare piece of, yeah, the card left. So I die cut another one. That's upside down. I think it blends in too much with that, doesn't it? So if I want to cut another one of those, I'll have to... If I want to use one of those, I'll have to cut another. In fact, yeah, I'm going to cut another, and I'm going to bring out my big chompy. I bought this. I had to buy it. I saved up for it, and I ordered it from, I don't know if it was Netherlands. I bought it directly from Basson Creative, wherever they are. It were about £30, but I just wanted it. I really did, so I bought it. And it, yeah, it was quite a considered purchase. And I've used it about 6 times. So I'm going to grab some more card and decide. No, I don't want it as mushrooms. That's too plain, that's too black. I'm tempted to use one of those journal cards and cut into it, but then I'm like, I've lost a journal card. This, I think this is Backdrops 1. I have had 2 sets. I bought one myself and I did have one in Happy Mail. Oh, that's very blue. And that's too blue. Too blue. Let's look at the other side. They're a bit more interesting. Oh, I like that music paper one. I think I'm going to have a music paper tab. Yeah, I like that. But I'm using that. You can use music paper, real, vintage music paper from an old book from charity shop, stuck to a piece of card. It will do the job just as well. I'm just going to grab my scoreboard, because I do know that if I score this at 2 inches, it will be the right size to use in that punch. So I'm just going to fold that over, move your scoreboard out of the way. I'm getting bogged down with stuff now, aren't I? Whee. There we go. And I'm going to grab my punch back, unlock it. Ooh, it's such a beast. It really is a beast. And I tend to use it upside down so I can see what pattern I'm going to get. And you see, oh, that'd be a good one, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm not going to go right to the top. I'm going to do it there. Yeah. Woohoo! Then we should get a couple of music ones. Yeah. So loud. And I can put these in my tub for using on something else. Yay. Right, that's locked up and I'll pop it away. I'm always quite careful with my bigger tools. Things I've spent money on, I look after them a little bit better. And let's grab the book back and decide. I may put that lower down this time, I don't know. I could have it in the middle. So it's either that one, or that one. Do you know what? I think I like the one with the writing more. I just do. Yeah, I'm going to use that one. I'll put the two music paper ones in my stash for another time. So I'm going to ink that edge. Did I finish inking? I didn't even finish inking that bit, did I? The flat. It's nice to do something grungy now and again. You really don't have to be careful with inking it all. Just slap it on. Get it on. Yay. And then I'm going to put that on there. Yep. And this time I'm not going to put an eyelet in. I think I'm going to put a press stud in. Now again, these, ooh, I get them from Temu or AliExpress or Amazon, depending on how quick I want them. Sometimes these days things are as cheap on Amazon, aren't they? And I'm going to pop this in. You don't need a special tool. I'm going to just use my bog standard pokey tool if I can find it. Don't ever tidy up, woman, because that where madness lies. Right, it's not that I'm poking holes and it's this, you silly woman. I'm just going to poke a hole there. Make it a bit bigger. If I still need it a bit bigger, I'm going to stick a pen or a pencil or something in it. Not that one. I'm very picky about what I use. That will do. A pencil. Make it bigger. Then my press stud should fit in. Put the back in. Snaps. Snap fasteners. We call them press studs in UK. And then I get questions about what they are. Snap fasteners, most people call them in other parts of the world. We call them the studs and you press them. There you go, press studs. And I'm going to pop that on there. Yeah, I am going to put it at the top. So, get some glue on. Whee. Whee. I had an idea as I was gluing this, and maybe we could make that into a pen holder. Yeah, might give that a whirl. Right, that's that. I just like it at that height to just do. Ta-da. And what else? Get some bits and bobs out of here now. These are a pack of little tape measure things I got from, I think it was AliExpress actually. And I like them. I have got one in here. That's the one that came from an actual Tim Holtz pack. So they're not the same, they're just similar. That's much thicker, but I like the fact that these are thinner. They're not as bulky when you use them. And I think I want one on, I did put one up there on my other one, but I think I want one on here. Yeah, I do. I want that there under that other bit that I stuck on. I do want a slightly lighter one. Now I'm going to use that. We're being grungy today, aren't we? So I'm going to come in and And yeah, I'm just wondering, are these actual paper or stickers? No, the paper. I've done that before, used stickers without peeling backing off. And I'm going to use my Nuvo glue again. Stop doing it in mid-air, woman. Yeah, do it on your project, so then when you miss, you'll have ruined it. Well, I won't, because if I get some glue on it that I didn't want to go on it, I'll just stick something on it. You can't ever ruin it. You just can't. Just cover it up. Whee. Now I'm going to fold that back like so. I'm going to put that there. Hooch it up to there. And again, I'm just going to snip it off at that end. I like that. Yay. Decorating is a very much personal thing, isn't it? You can do what you want. Sometimes I'll make a project and I don't even feel like decorating it. I'll come back and decorate it another time. Or I'll get halfway through decorating, get stuck with it, and then come back and do it another time. Nothing wrong with that. Now I've got a little piece there that's really annoying me, so I'm going to put something on it at some point. Or get my cotton bud and stick some ink in. But I'm liking that already so far. Let's look at my original, and that's that. Yeah? So I want something else here, and it's lacking colour, so I want some red bits. And in here we may have some little red Timmy tickets. What have we got? Because I like the red, I may have used all my red. Tim, you need to do a set of just red, because I always go for the red. But then having said that, I've got plenty of stamps and I've got red ink, so I need to just show up moaning really, don't I? Get your inks and your stamps out. Ooh, cute little mushroom. I'm thinking a bird as well. Right, I'm going to grab my fussy cuts out from my... These are a set of digitals by Cara Brandon Creations. They are the palette sets. She's got various colours, or she has a bundle with all the colours in. And yeah, they're very Timmy-esque. They are made to go with Timmy's fabrics. Tim Holtz, that is. I do like to call him Timmy. I think I might like the bluebird. Oh yeah, I think he'll look really cute on the bottom. Yeah. Now I'm thinking, wow, that tiny little bird and that huge egg. No, don't even go there. I've got another one of him in a slightly different size. He's smaller. I'm going to go with that size. But the beeping is my washer. My kids are doing washing. Woohoo. I've been cracking whip. Now I'm going to do a little bit more fussy cutting on him, because the white bit between his legs is really annoying me. So I've got this. How do I use it? There we go. So watch me be all precise with a craft knife. This is totally unnecessary. A lot of you will think it's unnecessary. Some of you will think it's genius. Some of you will switch off. But there we go. I really need it sometimes on my fussy cuts. I don't like to be precise on my fussy cuts. And I've had a lot of people mention how good these look. They're like, wow, we thought there were packs of Tim Holtz ephemera. 99% of it is the really good digitals that Cara's produced. 1% is my, yeah, perfectionism when it comes to fussy cutting. I'm just going to put a little bit of ink on the edges, because it's too white for me liking. I always fussy cut with a white border. I don't know why, I just do. And then sometimes I ink it. And then, yeah, I want that little bird there. I think he looks good. Yay. So, now I'm not going to glue him, because I want some labels and things, and I might want one to go underneath him. I get a bit giddy sometimes and glue things on too soon. Right, what else have we got in here? Move all the rulers out of the way. Oh, I've got that. No. Oh, I've got a butterfly. Could go more blue. Oh, he looks sweet, doesn't he? Oh, he might look good on label. No. No. I'm just being silly now. I might actually pause and have a drink of my tea and have a look and a study. And then I can pretend I just suddenly found this perfect piece and didn't have to look for 10 minutes. So yeah, I'm going to pause, have a cup of tea. Oh, I like that in there. Yeah, I do. That might put there. But I need a red label for there, so I'm going to go on the hunt for a red label, have a little bit of my tea, and I'll be back instantly. And I'm back. Oh look, I just found the perfect red label first time. I think I'm going to have it so it pokes out from under there, and then maybe a thinner something joining them together, maybe a little blue label. Oh, my chair's squeaking. I'm sorry if you can hear it. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to glue that one on first. Then I'll layer it up with the little blue label. And then the little blue bird. Whee. That's it. I think I need to clean the nozzle on that. I've just buttered all those up together. It wasn't intentional, it's just how it happened. I'm going to trim that, it's annoying me. The white's far too thick on some edges and not on others. There you go. That's much less annoying for me now. I must be in one of those moods. So we'll glue that on. Whoops, that's a bit too much glue, woman. And then the little bird is going to go there. Yeah. Just put it so you can still read what's on that label. Is that straight? Yeah. And then we'll glue Mr. Birdie on. Whee. There he is, his little branch just across the top of the label. That's it, I'm liking that. That I'm going to ink the edges of. It's just a little bit too bright white for this project, so I might just a little bit across middle. There we go. I like that. I just love this layered look. And I don't have patience to do it as some people do. Do I want that on the journal card or do I want it on the book? I want it on the book. So I'm going to glue that on. There we go. Right, and I want something here. And I feel I need a ticket or something there. Have we got any ticket type things in here? That looks good. Ooh, I know what I've got. I made these. They are just little bits of random sewing on fabric. Just like the Tim Holtz pack that you can buy. That I thought were a little bit expensive for what it was. So I made my own. Whee. I may put that on with a ticket. About there, but then it's there. Yeah, put it on before you decide you don't like it. I'm just going to grunge my fabric up a bit, make it a bit dirty. I'll glue that on with this. Whee. Forgot how high up I had it now. Then that, I'm just going to ink the edge of that a little bit more. So we can still see the flowers then. I make my decisions much faster when I'm filming about what to put where. And I'm just going to put that over so we can see the sewing. There we go. Oh, I like that. Right, I think that's about it for my decorating on that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the different closures that you can do. I haven't done this closure yet, but I'm going to do it the same way I did this one. If you have some of the Tim Holtz fasteners hanging about, you can use one, or you can use the method I'm going to show you. Right, put you over there. So there's the one I made first, there's the one I've just made. I haven't used my crocodile. My wrist is hurting too much to use that today. So let's grab one of the Tim Holtz fasteners. I don't have the original packaging. These are called, and I wrote it down, Tim Holtz Advantus Elastic Loops, and I bought them in 2016. No idea when it came out with them. It says they are 6.5 inches long. Now I measured it, and to get to 6.5 inches, what is measured the metal clasp, so that is where the elastic starts, I suppose, to the end of the elastic, and that is 6.5. And it just happens to be perfect for these books that are just over 7 inches high, 7 1/4 inches high, and they're perfect for it. And all you do is you pop a hole in the middle at the back. I'll show you this one, how I did it. I made a hole and I put an eyelet in, and the metal there just stops it going all the way through. Now I then made my own version of it because I'm like, well, I can't find any more. And what I've got here is some elastic that I've taken off a roll. Here, that's 1.5mm elastic. I've tied a knot in it. Now you can put a hole in and thread it through. Let me show you. If I pop a quick hole, I'm using it. If I pop a quick hole in there and show you what I mean, you can pop your elastic through your hole. Let me take my little pin off, and the knot will stop it pulling through. But sometimes, can you see how the knot comes through? So all I've done then is I've grabbed a teeny tiny safety pin. I've just put it across, and it just makes it that, yeah, fasten your safety pin, woman, fasten it. And it just means that your knot is not putting the same pressure on that hole and likely to pull through as easy. Your safety pin is coming across the hole. I hope that makes sense, because that is how I've decided to make my own version of this. Also, to make a hole there, you will need the long reach crocodile. I'll show it you. I very rarely use it because it annoys the life out of me. I wish I'd never bought it. It's the Big Bite. It was expensive. I bought it years ago. It's even more expensive now. And you can put a hole into, it will reach the centre of a 6 by 6 inch piece of card. So where it punches the hole, you can get it up to 8 inches into a piece of card. Put that away. Whee. That's that. So there's various ways you can make the hole if you don't have that. You can make the hole how I made my hole before, just with a pokey tool, and then what you can put on it is some reinforcement rings. Aha, here we go. Like these. And that's what I'm going to do on this one today. So we're going to go for the DIY one and just do the hole with reinforcement rings. So I've got my pokey tool. If you don't have a pokey tool, use a thick needle. And I'm just going to poke a hole around there. Yeah, I'm going to make that hole a bit bigger with my pencil or a pen or whatever you want to make it bigger with. I'm going to turn over to the back I'm going to get my bone folder just to flatten down the card. Make it a little bit bigger again. Then I'm going to get some... Oh, I've just knocked some Timmy ephemera on the floor. That's a disaster. That's one for kids to sort out later. I'm going to grab a couple of these hole reinforcers. That'll just prevent the card ripping too much. Put one around. And then I'm going to grab my bit of elastic and I'm going to thread it through. How much elastic did I use? I'll measure it. I've used 16 inches of elastic and tied it because this elastic is it's not as elastic, it's not as stretchy. My elastic's not as elastic. That's going to go in top tip. So I'm going to pop that through. I've put my little mini safety pin on just to make sure that knot doesn't put stress on my hole and pull it through. Right, I'm going to close that up, and then that is a little bit baggy. It's maybe 16 inches was a little bit not enough, a little bit too much. So I'm going to pop another knot in it. But this is for you, work it out. Whatever size your folio is, make your knot. You know how to make a bit of elastic shorter. So I'll put another knot in and then I'm going to snip the first knot off. And let's see if that works. Hope it's not now too tight, but if it is, I'll just make another one. That's perfect now. Yeah, there you go. Now, if you want to buy the flat elastic, buy that. I'm not buying it because I've got this elastic. And that will do just as good a job as my bought Tim Holtz one. Yeah, the pin is stopping the knot putting pressure on the hole so it pulls through. So I've not had to use an eyelet and I've not had to use a elastic. Right, you can buy, I'm saying you can't buy the Tim Holtz ones. You can buy various ones and they're normally called Traveller's Notebook fasteners. And they're a bit dear. You'd be paying like £1 to £2 each for one of them. I can't justify that, so I'm just not gonna. Right, so that's that one. Oh, I quite like it. Now I'm going to go back to my prototypes and show you a couple of different fastenings that you can use. Right, that one we just tied some seam binding around it. That's my seam binding. But what you could do, and what I'm going to do with this one now, is I'm going to get some Velcro dots. And you could fasten it with Velcro dots. I've just got these. These are the cheapy ones. I'm not using my posh ones for these. I've just put my finger on that. Cut them off, woman. There you go. This is how I like to use them. So I'm going to put my hooky one there. I have a feeling I might need 3 of these, I don't know. Stick the fluffy bit to it. Then I'm going to do it again. I try not to touch the glue with my fingers. Can you see? I did it. And then I'm just going to line that up as best as I can and press it down. So that's that. That one's now fastened without needing. Oh, wow. They are strong. Very strong. I'm surprised how strong they are. But yeah, Velcro fastener, however you want to do your Velcro fastener. Yeah. Now this one I put a hole in. using my crocodile. I really don't think you could do this hole using just a pokey tool. But I punched a hole all the way through both of those and that. So I got my folio as I wanted it, and then I just used the small hole and punched my hole through. You do have to faff then thread in, but if you wanted that hole to be a bit bigger, you could use something like, say, I have a little slot punch. Let me grab that and use that. Come here, little slot punch. Where have you gone? But I was conscious that not everyone's going to have a slot punch. So I'll show you on this one. So everything is where it should be. And I'm just going to punch like that. That is more like the one on the one that I bought. So then I should be able to thread my seam binding through more easily and just tie it. The one I bought when I bought it, it was like this. The seam binding was tied over there, which meant that that was permanently over so that things didn't fall out when you opened it, and that just closed on the front, which that one seems to be doing. So you've got that. You can use your Velcro, you can use your elastic like that, or one other way, and I'm going to show you on this one. And it does involve holes again and elastic, but rather than the elastic going through one hole, I'm going to put two holes. And just, if you've got the small crocodile, this one will work. I'm going to adjust that so that it goes to its full reach. There you go, like that. Then I'm just going to make a mark using my ruler. Any ruler will do. The centre of my hole, just to make sure that I'm not going to have one. Oops, that's a bit of tape I put on that's come unglued. I'm not going to have one nearer the edge than the other. And then I'm going to use my crocodile again. I want that line to, I'm going to line it up, then I'll show you, you'll not be able to see it. I want the line to go across the centre of my crocodile hole, and then I know that they are the same distance. I've gone and used the big hole so I can put some eyelets in. I'll grab a couple of bronze ones. Ooh, no, I'm going to use those ones, little gunmetal ones. I'll get a couple of little rings. Have I got any? Yeah. They'll do. And I'm just going to, you've seen me set eyelets loads of times, so I'm just going to pause while I set those. So now I've got my eyelets in. And then what I'm going to do is I've got a piece of elastic, and tell me I haven't lost it already, I've only just got it out. Where are you, elastic? Oh, the woman is a nightmare. Dropped it on the floor. Ta-da! Now, it's just a wide piece of elastic. It's similar to those, but it's a little bit wider. I could cut it, but I'm just going to use it as is. And I'm just going to thread some through each eyelet. Ta-da! Because we have got eyelets in, we won't have to use any pins to secure it to the side so we don't rip paper. I'm just going to pull it. I'm going to put a knot in this one end. Don't ask me where I got this elastic from. I could have bought it to mend kids' trousers when they were little. I know I did that a few times. You know, elastic had gone in the little school trousers. And I'm just going to pull it tight on that one end with knot. And then I'm not going to, you can see it's gone a little bit at one side. I'm going to pull it. It's not mega tight on back. I'm just going to tuck those in, flap over, and I'm going to see whether that's about the right amount. I think I'm going to have it a smidgen longer because my elastic has lost a little bit of its elasticity. So I'm going to cut it about there and tie a knot. And I'm not going to tie this knot too tight at the minute because I might need to tighten it up a little bit more if my elastic's a bit baggy. Baggy elastic. No worse, is there? Especially in your knickers. Oh! I bent the card. That is far too tight, woman, because look, I've done that far too tight. That's terrible. Right, so if I can just pull my knot right to end on both of these, hopefully my elastic will be long enough because I've done it far too short. Far too short. Do you know, I don't know if that paper isn't even thinner, you know, than the other one were. Right, so then that's better. Ta-da! It's still a little bit, isn't it? So maybe to use that thick elastic, maybe I need stronger card or just a slightly longer piece of elastic. Yeah, don't make, look, I've made that knot in that side tight before. So let that be a lesson to you. I will be all clever making my first knot tight before checking I've got enough elastic for the job. That were me trying to be frugal. Oh, that's better. That tightened up. There you go. So that is a DIY way of closing it. Ta-da! So we've got that way. We've got just tie it with a piece of seam binding. We've got the Velcro. Do you know that Velcro? I think I would have been better putting the fasteners there. I really would. Yeah, can you see what I've done? Put your Velcro fasteners there. That would be better. Yeah. And we've got this one with the Tim Holtz proper elastic loop. Tim Holtz didn't call them Traveller's Notebook fasteners, so I had such a pain trying to find some. Then there's this homemade one with just a piece of elastic and a safety pin. No major tools needed for that. And then if I put something in it, oh, I've got that envelope there. Will it fit? Not really. What else we got that might fit in it? Just grab your post-it notes, woman. Da-da. Put them in. Da-da, da-da. It just looks better when it's got something in it and it's not pancake flat. But yeah, that worked just as well. I might put a few more bits and bobs around that, but yeah, I quite like it. We've lost that ticket. So there we go. I'm going to dig out another layaway tag as well. Perhaps put that on as well, because I like the colour of that. But I hope you enjoyed that. There's been a lot of waffling for a short project, but I have had a couple of weeks off again. So I do hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.